Hoping to bolster the new government, McNamara goes there to make what seems to be an open-ended commitment, promising the South Vietnamese that, quote, "We'll stay for as long as it takes. We shall provide whatever help is required to win the battle against the communist insurgents." But he returns to Washington, bearing news of an army nearing collapse, and tells the president he must quickly send more military assistance. With one eye on that worsening situation and another on the coming election, Johnson turns for support to an old friend and mentor, Senate Armed Services Chairman Richard Russell of Georgia.
What do you think about this Vietnam thing? What I'd like to hear you talk a little bit.
Frankly, Mr. President, if you were to tell me that I was authorized to settle it as I saw fit, I would respectfully decline to undertake it. It's the damn worst mess I ever saw, and I don't like to brag. I never have been right many times in my life, but I knew we were going to get in this sort of mess when we went in there, and I don't see how we're going to ever get out without fighting a major war with the Chinese and all of them down there in those rice paddies and jungles. I just don't know what to do.
Well, that's the way I've been feeling for
it's 6 months. Our position is deteriorating, and it looks like the more we try to do for them, the less they're willing to do for themselves. It's a hell of a situation. It's a mess, and it's going to get worse. And I don't know what to do. I don't think the American people were quite ready for us to send our troops in there to do the fighting. And if it came down to an option of just sending Americans in there to do the fighting, which will, of course, eventuate into a ground war and a conventional war with China. If it got down to that, or just pulling out, I'd get out. But then I don't know. There's undoubtedly some middle ground somewhere.
How important is it to us?
It isn't important a damn bit. With all this new...
Well, I guess it's important to it,
from a psychological standpoint.
I mean, yes, and from the standpoint that we are party to a treaty, and if we don't pay attention to this treaty, well, I don't guess they think we're paying attention to any of them.
Yeah, but we're the only one paying any attention to it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think the people of the country know much about Vietnam, and I think they care a hell of a lot less.
I know, but you go to send a whole lot of our boys out there.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. That's what I'm talking about. You get a few. We had 35 killed, and we got enough hell over 35 this year. The Republicans are going to make a political issue out of it. Every one of them, even Dirksen.
It's the only issue they got. It's a tragic situation. It's just one of those places where you can't win. Anything you do is wrong.
Now, the whole question, as I see it, is it more dangerous for us to let things go as they're going now, deteriorating every day?
I don't think we can let it go, Mr. President, indefinitely.
Then it would be for us to move in.
We either got to move in or move out.
That's about what it is.
Future. You can make a tremendous case for moving out.
Well, it'd impeach the president, though, that'd run out, wouldn't it? I just don't believe outside of Morris, everybody I talked to says you got to go in, including Hickenlooper, including all the Republicans. None of them disagreed with him yesterday when he made the statement that we had to stand. And I don't know how in the hell you're going to get out unless they tell you to get out.
If we had a man running the government over that door to get out, we could sure have.
Oh, yeah, that's right, but you can't do that.
Of course, you look pretty good, I guess, going in there with all the troops and sending them all in there. But I'll tell you, it'll be the most expensive venture this country ever went into.
I haven't got the nerve to do it, and I don't see any other way out of it.
Much sense to it.
I just couldn't wait.
It's one of these things where heads are win, tails you lose.
Well, think about it, and I'll talk to you again. I hate to bother you, but I've just...
I can help you. God knows I do, because it's a terrific quandary that we're in over there. We're just in the quicksands up to our very necks, and I just don't know what the hell's the best way to do about it.
That same day, a morose president calls his national security advisor.
I'll tell you, the more I just stayed awake last night thinking about this thing, the more I think of it, I don't know what in the hell. It looks like me we're getting into another Korea. I don't think it's worth fighting for, and I don't think we can get out. And it's just the biggest damn mess I
It
ever
is.
saw.
It's an awful mess.
And we just got to think about, I looked at this sergeant of mine this morning, got 6 little old kids, and I just thought, what in the hell am I ordering him out there for?
One thing
what
that
the hell
has
is
occurred to
Vietnam
me,
worth to me? What is Laos worth to me? What is it worth to this country?
we have to
Now,
get
we
into
got a
position
treaty,
to
but
explain
sure,
this.
we got a treaty, but hell, everybody else got a treaty out there, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you start running the communists, they may just chase you right into your own kitchen.
Yeah, that's the trouble. And that is what the rest of the that half of the world is going to think if this thing comes apart on us. That's the dilemma. That's exactly the dilemma.
What action do we take, though?
Well, the main object is to kill as few people as possible while creating an environment in which the incentive to react is as low as possible. But I can't say to you this is a small matter. There's one other thing that I've thought about, that I've only just thought about overnight, and it's on this same matter of saying to a guy, you go to Korea or you go to Vietnam and you fight in the rice paddies. I would love to know what would happen if we were to say in this same speech, and from now on, nobody goes to this task who doesn't volunteer. I think if we could, we might turn around the atmosphere of our own people out there if it were a volunteers' enterprise. I suspect the Joint Chiefs won't agree to that, but I'd like to know what would happen. If we really dramatize this as Americans against terror, and Americans keeping their commitment, and Americans who have only peace as their object, and only Americans who want to go have to go, you might change the temper of it some.
In 1964, we're drafting 17,000 Americans into the military every month. When Bundy says that we might limit domestic opposition to our growing involvement in Vietnam by using only volunteers to fight there, the president doesn't buy it. He's got the election on his mind, all right, but there's something else eating away at him.
Did you see the poll this morning? 65% of them don't know anything about it. And of those that do, the majority think we're mishandling it, but they don't know what to do. That's Gallup.
Yeah.
And it's damned easy to get in war, but it's going to be awfully hard to ever extricate yourself if you get in.
I'm very sensitive to the fact that people who are having trouble with an intransigent problem find it very easy to come and say to the President of the United States, go and be tough.
For 6 months, LBJ has been serving as an accidental president, and he's determined to be elected in his own right. But always in the shadows is the slain Kennedy's brother, Robert, who still serves as Attorney General. Their relationship is complicated to almost Shakespearean proportions, Johnson wanting to court the younger Kennedy, but also feeling threatened. There's speculation that Bobby wants to be LBJ's running mate, and rumors that he's privately complaining the president relies too heavily on the hawkish advice of the military. Bobby Kennedy brings the matter up in a conversation that is, as always, a delicate dance between two men in perpetual distrust.
I have not been involved intimately with on the Southeast Asia or Vietnam, just those two National Security Council meetings. I would think that war will never be won militarily, but where it's going to be won really is a political war. And the best talent, of course, is over at the Pentagon because you have Bob McNamara, but that same kind of talent really has to be applied to doing what needs to be done politically in that country, because with military action obviously will have to be taken, but unless the political action is taken concurrently, in my judgment, I just don't think it can be successful.
We're not ready to have a declaration of war or war by executive order. We're trying every way we can to soup up what we've got and stabilize it, and to find some way to call upon people to help us preserve the peace and have some diplomatic programs and political programs instead of just sending out 20 extra planes.
Yes.
I have talked to the Congress, and I'm telling you, it's going to be very difficult to wage much more effort out there than we are with any of their approval.
Yes, I can see that.
The Mansfield is just, he's for pulling out. Humphrey said, well, we're not doing any good. The Frank Churchill said we don't want any part of it. The Dick Russells and the 20-odd in that group say we ought never been in there, and the French found that out, and we didn't go along with the 54 Accords, and what the hell are we doing in there anyway? And Dulles and Eisenhower oughtn't have got us in there, and we oughtn't have stayed. And yet when you go to reason with them and say, well, how in the world are you going to get out? they'll say, God, if some government would ask us to get out, it'd be wonderful, but it's saddening to talk to them about it. I think it's the hottest thing we got on our hands, and the most potentially dangerous.
Yeah, I didn't want to, put myself in that.
You put yourself in everything that you've ever been doing. Just forget that stuff. Now, I've told you that about 3 times. You're wanted and needed, and we care, and we must have all the capacity we have and all the experience. You even needed more than you were. So just handle it that way. Now, I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean that, and I don't need to say it, and I just to say much obliged and thank you if I didn't want it. I sincerely want it.
What LBJ doesn't welcome is the stream of stories from reporters in Vietnam undermining his efforts to keep the bad news there from influencing the election.